I made the comment about some women in ministry not wanting to draw the analogy to queer issues. Both Keegan and Christy were like saying, hey, I want a shot at that discussion. So Alexa, can you, if Christy and Keegan are willing to jump on here and talk a bit while we wait for Steve. Keegan's here. What were you thinking, Keegan, as I made that comment?
Well, we talked about it a little bit in the comments, so I don't know, like
Okay.
if everyone kind of saw that. But one thing that I was thinking of was the role that power plays when you're talking about these conversations, right? Where say, you know, people who have these certain privileges and power over people who are like oppressed or in these like other classes. And so when you have a little bit of that power, you get a little bit of that power, you find yourself wanting to align with that power that you hold rather than the oppressed pieces that you might hold. So you see this in situations like especially like after the Civil War, right after the Civil War in Reconstruction, where you have these poor white folks who really should be in solidarity with these Black folks who had just been freed from enslavement, because they're kind of all in the same place, but they can cling to their whiteness and say, well, I'm better than you because at least I'm white. Rather than be in solidarity and work to kind of like grow a base of power on the base of like their class, right? So I think in the terms of like women, straight women can be like, well, yeah, I'm a woman, but at least I'm not gay.
Yeah.
And so they can hold on to that kind of power of like, you know, I'm still okay because like, at least I'm not gay, when in reality, yeah, we should all be kind of working together because we're all being affected by this cis hetero patriarchy, right? And we could do a lot more together, but we want to hang on to that privilege that we have, that like, oh, at least we're not like them. So that's kind of where I was thinking.
Excellent. Thanks, Keegan. Christy, you want to jump in there too? Yeah, you are unmuted. So I guess maybe we got a microphone issue.
Christy, if you want to add some comments in the chat, we can tap them out, speak them out for you.
Great. Yeah, I was really surprised when I posted that because, again, my experience has been that generally speaking, women are more likely to be affirming on these issues than men, and especially women clergy in the Church of the Nazarene could see the analogy of, you know, there's clearly biblical passages that say women shouldn't be in ministry, and yet the denomination affirms that. I was just surprised to get the pushback from not everyone, obviously.
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what Christy was getting at, is that she's saying that the hermeneutic used to justify women in ministry can really easily be used to affirm queer folks, which is totally correct. And you see that in queer theory and queer theology. So many of the tools that you use to read queerly, or to like, you know, ask the questions of, for example, the biblical text, are the same exact tools and ways that we use to talk about women in ministry or women doing the work of Jesus, which, yeah. So thanks for that, Christy, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Christy. Yeah, so, you know, Keegan, you've got the point about the power issue. Now it seems another point is your hermeneutic. How are you going to think about scripture? Are you going to go to scripture and have kind of a rule-based hermeneutic? You're finding verses that you think clearly say one thing or another, or are you going to ask the question about context and all the biblical kinds of critical questions that at least scholars ask and an increasing number of other Christians ask? Excellent.